Hello, and welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part, I believe, 18 of our initial run through the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Last time we started out at the Shadow Keep main gate, heading through, as you can probably tell, the Shadow Keep. And we got ourselves some goodies. We got the main Gosh, a dagger that dual wields with thrusting swords. We were given the choice to help Needle Knight Lita take out Hornsent or help the Hornsent take out Needle Knight Lita. We chose to help the Needle Knight, getting ourselves Volks, a paired curved sword, and the braided cord set used by the Hornsent. We also got a chance drop for a Fire Knight helm, boosting HP, stamina, and equip load, which was very cool. And to top it all off, we got the Talisman of Lord's Bestowal, or Bestowal. I think it's Bestowal, which increases poise after using a Flask of Tears. And we made it up. We also beat a hippopotamus boss, getting ourselves a unique incantation. Not very powerful, but low FP cost, and it looks very cool. And we made it up to the Storehouse first floor site of grace, where I then decided to end the part before hitting an hour. And I see a few items that are just like on top of things. So I feel like we're gonna do lots of drops down. And these guys are using incantations. I'm assuming it's an incantation at least. I hope we get it, because it looks cool. I don't want to take any elevators right out the gate. Sir, that kind of hurts my bones. Oh, there's a lot of places to go. That's fine. Ember of Messmer. This kind of looks like a shortcut. So maybe we'll get to the other side and pull the lever and it'll open up. Nope. Nope. Wait for that whoosh to go away. The poison gas. I don't think going to the right would get us anywhere. Also, this place is packed. Like, dense. Which, for an initial run, is kind of bad because you can get very easily lost and or overwhelmed with the amount of choices you have. But once you learn the area, tends to turn into a very good thing because it means you have lots of options. Okay. And that's something that I think FromSoft does very, very well. Sir Ansbach is here. I saw him and immediately stopped because I went, he kind of looks like the shadow enemies, but he kind of doesn't. Oh, he's an NPC, but is he... Not a lot of friendly NPCs around. Like, there's more enemies than NPCs, at least. But we can talk to you.
Righteous Tarnished. It's been some time. After unburdening my soul to you, I had hoped to make a fresh start. But there was one thought I could not dislodge from my mind. So, here I am. quite unable to move on.
Yeah, so if you don't remember, all the NPCs that are friendly had been put under some kind of spell by Mikola. Like, he had charmed them with some kind of magic. But going through the open world, I think it was around Bonnie Village, like around here, I think, if I remember correctly, that there was a pop-up saying that like a great rune had been discarded and a spell had been broken, and then all the NPCs had like been freed from the spell, and some NPCs were still loyal, some NPCs were like, well, I'm not against Mikola, but I've got to do something else. Sir Ansbach said he's terrified of Mikola, and that Mikola's a monster. So, there's a little refresher in case you didn't watch that part or just forgot.
After Lord Moke's slaying at his dynastic palace, it appears his body has been absconded with and taken straight to kind Mikola. Surely you recall that I once served Lord Moog as a pureblood knight, after failing him in every regard and losing sight of my vows. I'd do anything to make amends in whatever meager way I can.
So, absconded, that means like fled or like stolen, something like that, I believe. I don't know, but... So what I'm getting from that is, we killed Moog, and then someone just like took his corpse and ran off to Mikola? Why? I'm not super into the lore. So my understanding of it as of right now is Moog was obsessed with Mikola, and people were saying that way over here, that in the Mogwin Dynasty Palace Mausoleum, Cocoon of the Empyrean, some people were saying that that was Mikola's body. It says Cocoon of the Empyrean, which probably means it's Mikola. But I don't think it's Mikola, or I don't know it at least. I'm not super confident on the idea that it is Mikola, because it's massive. And, well, the demigods are typically massive. Melania was like a foot taller than you. And Mikola was always shown as like a child, as being smaller than Melania. And so, also the corpses there, whereas like Mikola's running around in the DLC, so it's like, can they really be the same body? The same person? Like, I don't know. But yeah, so someone stole Moog's corpse and brought it to Mikola for some reason. Don't know why, that seems like a weird thing, but maybe Moog was enchanted by Mikola. But maybe Mikola wants Moog. Don't know why. But that's all I can really get from that, as like a conclusion. But moving on.
What could they possibly have in mind for Lord Moog's remains? The implications are rather unnerving. What could they possibly have in mind for Lord Moog's remains? The implications are rather unnerving.
Alright, two things. One, something that Elden Ring did that the other FromSoft games did not, is that when you're talking to an NPC, you can't swing. In the previous games, if you press the attack button while talking to an NPC, you'll just smack him in the face. Not in this game. And I really appreciate that as someone who accidentally presses the attack button a lot. 2, Mikkel wants to eat him. He wants a snack. He wants to nibble on some Moog flesh. That's probably not it, but I feel like that's a funny interpretation. Just like, tasty shardbearer. Yummy, yummy. Right, but back to another one of you guys. Oh, you have twin daggers instead of the heavy thrusting sword that the last guy had. I think it was a heavy thrusting sword. Could be wrong though. 2 smithing stone 7 and a smithing stone 8. And then 5 smithing stone 8 here. Lots of goodies. Lots of upgrade materials. 7s and 8s are expensive too, so thank you. But anyways, back to what I was going to say before talking to Ansbach. Something FromSoft is really, really good at, and I don't think enough people talk about it, is they are incredibly good at making something feel bad on the first run, but then feel progressively better and better and better as the runs go on. And areas like this are a great example of that, where there's so many options, there's so many places to go, it's so complicated and interweaving that it can feel very overwhelming, which is not typically a good feeling for most people. See, like, just right now, we can go up these stairs, we can go this way, we can go this way, there's an elevator back there. Like, there's a lot of paths to go. And they can get very overwhelming. Alright, so there's no sneaking up on him. Good. But yeah, so lots of paths. It can get very overwhelming. But once you play through this area like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, then you'll learn the area, you'll learn where all the goodies are, you can learn the areas that lead to dead ends and have nothing good or just aren't worth it. And you can then find the path that best fits you. And what you want. So that may change from run to run as you do different builds and whatnot. Oh. I saw an item back there, so we're gonna go get it. But yeah, so first run, it can feel bad because it can get very overwhelming and you don't know what to do or where to go because there's so many options and you can get lost and you can completely forget about some paths and but by the time you're on like your 6th run, you got a pretty good idea on where to go, what to do. It's no longer overwhelming, it's no longer stressful, it feels good. And door, but we can't open it. Okay. But yeah, it's like now instead of being worried because wow, there's so many options, I don't know where to even start, to hey, I have all these different options. this is great. I can go anywhere I want. Because I now know where to go. And so it starts off bad, but then becomes increasingly good as you gain knowledge. And like I said, that's something that FromSoft does an incredible job at. And I think they're especially skilled at it with their bosses. Because there are plenty of bosses where my first run, I see them as like a C tier boss, but then by like my 10th run, Dueling Shield. But then by like my 10th run, they're like an A tier, possibly even an S tier boss. Just because I learned the boss. And with that extra knowledge, I can then appreciate their intricacies. Ow. Dueling Shield. So, D strength, D dex. Normally that doesn't matter for a shield, but it's called a dueling shield. And the weapon type is thrusting shield. A quote-unquote thrusting shield, or combined weapon and shield, enables the wielder to attack and guard simultaneously. An armament once used in a ritual combat performed to honor the Erdtree, a custom that has somehow remained within the realm of shadow. And then this actually has an Ash of War on it. So probably not the original one, but something that we have. Which is Skill Shield Strike. A skill that uses the shield to attack. Repeated inputs allow for up to 3 follow-up attacks. Alright, so stab. I don't know what the second one is. Is that like a bash? So it's like stab, bash, stab, downward stab. And if you two-hand this, bash, bash. The third one kind of looks like a stab. And then downward slam. Heavy attacks. That kind of looks like a slash. And then a slash. Alright. Neat. So, not something that I see myself using, but I can 100% see the appeal. And I can definitely see why people would enjoy it. And honestly, the main reason I don't see myself using it... Hello. Wow, great swords are busted. Really hope FromSoft doesn't nerf them, but man, they are busted. And we got gauntlets. Gauntlets. Alright, so we already read that last time with the helmet. It's just that the gauntlets don't increase healths down on equip load. That's fine. Alright, but the main reason I don't see myself using it isn't because of the weapon class itself or the weapon itself. Can we climb on this? But it's because of the icon shield. Because it's like, why would I use that shield when I have this shield? Which can guard and give me health. A card words coalesce. I abandon here my arm dextral. I don't know what that means. Storehouse cross message. A message left by Sir Ansbach addressed to kindred spirits who also pursue Miquella's trail. It would seem that the people of the keep have flooded the holy quarter that leads onward to the Skidoo tree, barring access. However, there is no route that leads there from the storehouse. Perhaps there is another way to reach the holy quarter from somewhere else in this keep. I'm assuming that means the church district entrance. But also, it doesn't say that it was addressed to me. It says that it was addressed to other people following Miquella's path. So we should probably leave that in case anyone else is behind us. But yeah, like I said, icon shield. It's just so good. Like, why would we use any other shield? I'm too old for this. I'm too old for these scares. Whew. Anyway, we can come back to this. Oh, there's a... Looks like there's other paths. This is not a good idea. Oh, there's a big ladder there. I don't think we're supposed to go up onto that. I'm just gonna... not. That feels like a good idea. I'm going back down because I remember there was a... Whoops. I see an enemy this way, which means I didn't go this way. But I remember there's an elevator down at the beginning, which I did not get. Yeah, like, you cannot look at this and say that greatswords are not great. Smithing Stone 8 and Fire Knight Greaves. Same thing. So all we're missing is the chest piece now. I hope I get it. Also, I don't know if that opens up or not. But moving on. Like I said, there's just so many different paths you can take. And it's so easy to get overwhelmed. And it's so easy to just not know how to get somewhere. Or Revered Spirit Ash, so you can get that right at the beginning. Cool, 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 cool. And it's like, this could just be like a dead end with one item. Oh, it goes down, okay. She's like, I didn't know that. If I had known that, I might have gone down here first. Uh, you look different. You look pale. I don't know how to describe it, but they look pale. The other ones are like an orangish color, whereas they look more blue. I don't like you things. You're disgusting. They're very well designed, but ugh. Ash of War, Wall of Sparks. Alright, is that for like the mist spray? These things. Is it for these things? Usable on perfume bottle. I knew it. I couldn't think of the name, but I knew it. Alright, so starting from the middle. Wall of Sparks. Scatter perfumed powder in vicinity, producing intense sparks after a brief delay. It can be charged to increase power and range. The properties of the sparks are determined by the perfume bottle used. Alright, so this one, the sparks will do fire. This one, the sparks will do lightning. This one, the sparks will do magic. This one, the sparks will do poison. Maybe. Alright. Vial. Vial. Demon. Die. I saw another one. Oh. No idea how many of those I missed, but we found one. So that's good. Battlefield Priest Cookbook 4. Sun Warmth Stone. So I'm really glad that they did this recent items tab. It makes things so much easier to find. Let's see, Sun Warmth Stone. Uses FP to continuously heal nearby allies. That takes Blessed Bone Shards, which are exceedingly rare to find. My only complaint with the recent item tabs is that it's the first one you open to, which I would rather open to tools, and I would rather press L1, which is the shield button, and have recent items be at the very end. So that way you start off at tools, and then you can press L1 to go to recent items, instead of automatically opening the recent items. But world's tiniest nitpick. Oh, it homes. I was gonna say, that attack is really, really slow. I don't know why you'd have an attack be so slow. And I realized it homes. So that's why. Yeah, it's half my health. Oh, almost a two-shot, one-handed. Oh. Yeah, I'd rather one-hand because I like the shield or the sword over the shoulder. Like, I like how it's positioned this way better than this way. And the shield on the back, it's the same problem I have with scabbards where it messes with the look of the armor set. Which isn't a big deal. I'm just very particular. I just realized you're a lot bigger than the other ones. Anyways, but yeah, that's why I keep going between one-handed and two-handed, because I like how one-handed looks better. But that's a thing of my brain is just weird and doesn't work properly. Anyways, Iris of Grace. It is a consumable item. Thought I heard footsteps. Anyways, place on the eye of another to grant the light of grace as a fleeing blessing. An iris blessed with an incantation of the Erdtree. Place on the eye of another to grant them the light of grace as a fleeing blessing. Can be used to receive the blessing of an equipped great rune. In the realm of shadow, this artifice was employed by the priests of the Erdtree to quell the fears of their flock to magnificent effect. Alright, so it says, can also be used to receive the blessing of an equipped great rune. So it's basically a rune arc. But it might have some other effect. That... Ow. Anyways, that clearly hit me because I flinched. But it didn't do any damage, and I feel like if it made me flinch, it probably should have done damage. And so I don't know why it didn't do damage. Now, I mean... Oh, Site of Grace. Good, good, good. Now, it doesn't really matter either way, because... Icon Shield, Blessed Dude, Talisman, Blasphemous Blade. 3 sources of HP regen. Like, I'm getting the health back anyways, but... Still. You never know. Just wanted to see if there's any hidden secrets hiding around. Because FromSoft do be sneaky. So there's a big door and a small door. Small door can be opened, big door cannot. So, like, on the good side, we're moving this way, which is towards this, which I want to get to this. So it looks like we're moving to a new area. But then you got the bad side of this is a giant bridge and it leads to a different area and... Yeah, scream your heart out. Okay, so... I was really worried that there's gonna be like a giant cannon or some kind of like yeah, like that. Oh, I see you. Way off at the end, there's a guy casting fire magic. Ew. My weak, tender flesh. I only have so much of this stuff. I only have so much. Stop it. Oh, you have a lot of health. Stop it. Alright, so... I was about to say, you have a lot of poise. And a lot of health. And a lot of stance health. I was about to say, are you a one-time enemy or an every-time enemy? But Saul's hood. I'm gonna assume that's one of these. Yep. Hood of Saul's, Sage of the Fire Knights. Prodigious amount of cloth wound around it, giving the impression of a greatly swollen head, and wearing it increases intelligence by 2 points. A disciple of the elder Wego or Wego. I'm gonna go with Wego. We go away from here. He refused to burn down an old ruin at the risk of his own life. And then you get Rain of Fire, which I'm assuming is a sorcery. Or incantation. Alright, so it's probably like Founding Stars of Rain, but incantation and fire damage. It requires 52 faith, 10 more than we have. It takes 27 FP. And rains fire for short duration. Incantation of Salza, Sage of the Fire Knights. Summons a cloud of flame overhead that rains fire for a short time. Charging increases potency. Salza's disdain for barbarism never waned, even as he burned more villages and scorched more land than any other. Okay. Salza seems like a swell, upstanding member of the community. Making sure that pests don't get in these walls. I don't know if there's any, like, hidden openings that you can hop through. But that looks like an open world area. Ancient Ruins of Rau. Alright, so 2 things. Definitely an open world area, because we can get on our horse. Second, we've gotten that name pop up before. Near Castle Ensis, outside, when we went over here. Right here on the map. There was an imbued sword key that we could take. And we got that pop up. And it got us a talisman. This one. Verdigris Discus, which raises defense with higher equip load. Alright, but we can do that. And then we can do Storehouse 4th floor, which is where we stopped. And I think there was an item on one of these things that I saw in the very beginning. Well, could be wrong about that, or I could have gotten it already, or maybe we get it later. I don't know. Either way, I think we have enough for a level. We do. I'm getting health up to 60. And also we have enough for another Skidoo tree fragment upgrade. So that's good. And just not realizing that Shadowkeep might be broken up into 3 parts. Whoa! That was a cool looking incantation. That was a very low damaging incantation. Alright, so I spent too much time and energy just dodging instead of actually just running at you. When I should have just ran at you, because I have a great sword. The best weapon class. Like, I keep saying that, and I say it... Oh. I was about to say, I thought I heard footsteps. But no, it was the beating of wings. Ow. I feel like you got stuck in a place you didn't want to get stuck at. Anyways, a little bit of weirdness aside, I say that... Oh, there's two ways to go. Ooh. I'm gonna go this way first. But I say it ever so partially as a joke. But I'm mostly being serious. Because anytime I hear people talk about greatswords, they always come back to the phrase, Jack of all trades, master of none. When... This is probably the way of progress, I just realized. Because we're still going up. So I'm going to come back here after I do the lower part. But yeah, whenever I hear people talk about greatswords, they either go, yeah, they're decent, I guess. Or they say, Jack of all trades, master of none. But in Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, and here in Elden Ring, my go-to build uses greatswords. Because I'm very okay. Also, there's the item. I don't know how you would get to that. I don't know how you get to that at all. How would you get to that? Secret Rite Scroll. Learn about the Secret Rite of the Divine Gateway. A scroll made of white tree bark. Few can decipher the scroll, which can describe the secret rite of the Divine Gateway, said to be found at the tower enshrouded by shadow. A lord will usher in a god's return, and a lord's soul will require a vessel. The only lords I know about would be Godfrey, Placidusax, and the player after they beat the game. So is it like once we show up, Mikola's gonna slurp her body up? Is that what I'm getting from that? I don't know. Anyways, still don't know how to get to that purple item. Sad. But with what I was saying before, I'm very okay at these games. I can be good at times. I can be pretty good at times, but those times are pretty rare, or they require me to play a game constantly to gain that level of knowledge and skill and timing, and to keep playing to uphold that level of skill and timing and whatnot. Because if I don't play, then I will lose it. And that can, has, and will happen. 3 Smithing Stone 7. But yeah, so for the most part, I'm very okay at these games. Like, I can get past most enemies. Well, I can get past almost every enemy. And I can get past most bosses without help. But some of the, like, top difficulty bosses, like, just off the top of my head, like, Sister Freed is up there. From what I've seen in this DLC so far, Bale almost certainly going to be one of them. The Lion boss may be one of them. Although that may be... So maybe that's how you get the purple item. It kind of looks like it. They're way down there now, though. And we can now go this way and get up, so that's a path we can take now. But anyways, like I said, most bosses I can do solo. Even a lot of the harder bosses, like...
Let me see. Fickle, fidgety little letters. I should wipe you clean off the page.
Okay.
Now, Freyja, don't let it rile you up. Take it slow. Take it slow.
It sounds like them.
By my lord.
It's not.
Why ever make sentences jumble?
I don't want to interrupt her while she's talking. I want you to get all the dialogue. I'm guessing she's on the other side of this wall. But Spirit Calculus, we can look at this. Consumable item. Used for crafting item materials. You can read that if you want. There's up and down. I'm going... I guess I'm going to go up first. We can go back for that item later. Oh, here's Freyja. So we can talk to her and then I'll continue on with my thought. Hopefully I remember it.
Oh. Hello. I'm afraid I'm busy. Curse upon my lack of foresight. I should have asked Ansbach to impart his knowledge when I had the chance. I'm afraid I'm busy, truly. I should have asked Ansbach to impart his knowledge when I had the chance. I'm afraid, truly.
So maybe we need to gain some knowledge and give it to her. But even some of the more difficult bosses, not the like top difficult, but some of the higher up there difficulty bosses, like Orphan of Cause comes to mind. Ooh. Revered Spirit Ash. And then that lets us drop back down there. Okay. But yeah, like Orphan of Cause comes to mind as like a definitely higher up there in terms of difficulty boss, but not like the most difficult. I can beat them without help. Typically in the first like 2 tries. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4, but that's usually when I haven't played the game in at least a few months, or if I'm using a new weapon that I'm not accustomed to. But I can still beat them somewhat easily. But so, like I said, I'm decent at times, but I'm definitely not like a top player. And so I usually end up at least somewhat relying on having good weaponry or good equipment. Because if I don't have... We might have to go back to the first floor. But, like, I can, for the most part, get by with mediocre weapons. But if I don't have good weapons, I'm definitely going to struggle on some of the harder sections. And so, because of that, I at least partially rely on having good weapons. And I'm someone who has no problem whatsoever using something that's overpowered. Because it's mostly a single-player PvE game. It's like... there are no humans to get upset at you using an overpower tactic. And so, using an overpower tactic is fine. Because you're fighting computers. So, they're not gonna care. You're not gonna hurt their feelings. So it's fine. And so because of that, I typically go with not the most overpowered thing. Pearl Drake Talisman +3. For the utmost non-physical damage negation. Yes, please. 7th floor, yeah. But yeah, so I typically go with something that's pretty overpowered. Again, not the most overpowered, but up there. That's why I'm using the Blaster's Blade. Now, it's mostly considered to be overpowered because of the weapon's skill, which I'm not using, but that's not why it's actually overpowered. It definitely helps, but it's actually overpowered because of a mixture of it being a greatsword and having HP regen. Which, as you can probably tell, HP regen, HP regen, HP regen. And then I usually have on Taker's cameo as well for even more HP regen. Because HP regen builds are overpowered. Don't let people tell you otherwise. That's why I go with greatswords, because I don't have the skill to use just anything. I try, but not that good. So I go with what's strong, typically. And greatswords are the strongest, so I go with the greatswords. This is very cool. I love when areas do this, where you can change the level or the environment in some way. He's gonna shoot us with fireballs as we go up, I just know it. Like the research hall in Bloodborne's The Old Hunter DLC does it.
By my lord, will I ever make sense of this jumble?
And it is one of my favorite areas in the entire series. We gotta stake America, so less pressure to die, but also there's probably gonna be something tough here. Nope. But yeah, so that's that. But as for the HP regen builds, again, hi. But a lot of people, like, I know that a lot of people smack talk the Blessed New Talisman because they're like, oh, it's only 2 HP per second. That's not good at all. And, like, correct. 2 HP per second isn't that good. But 2 HP per second...
Oh my lord. Will I ever make sense of this jungle?
plus 3 HP per second, plus a flat amount of HP, and a certain percentage of your maximum health every kill, plus a certain percentage of your health for every kill. Like, alone, they aren't that good. But all together, they absolutely decimate. There's a purple item over there. Wonder how we get to that. There's also an item there and an item there. And an item there. Wonder how we get to any of those. Can't go through here. Nope.
By my lord. Will I ever make sense of this jumble?
Freyja, I get it. It's complicated. It's hard to figure out. I get it, I get it. If I find something, I'll let you know. But yeah, that's the thing with HP regen. Ow. Oh, that was very cool. Just needed to figure out the timing on that. Oh. Ooh, winged serpent helm. Very cool. Like I said, individually, none of these are that groundbreaking. Like, individually, they can all be considered pretty weak. It's when you combine all of them that they become good. And, like, the Blasphemous Blade, again, it's a great sword. C scaling in strength and dex, B scaling in faith. And it's got fire damage, one of the best damage types. So even without the HP regen, it's already good. And so you don't use it just for the HP regen. That's just a nice thing on top of it already being good. An Icon Shield, you don't use it just for the HP regen. Because it's already decent. It's not the best, but it's already a decent Great Shield. The HP regen just makes it even better. That's what pushes it over other Great Shields, like the Golden Great Shield. And then Blessed New Talisman Taker's Cameo. This is where people have the hardest time justifying, because there's so many talismans and a lot of them are good. But the way I do it is I just have two. Like, two different sets. Where, like, I have 4 to 8 talismans that I use. And Taker's Cameo and Blessed New Talisman, they're not good against bosses. And so I'll just move over to something else when going against a boss. So that's how I do it. But anyways, Winged Serpent Helm. Helm of Kood. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. Captain of the Fire Knights, a winged serpent perches atop it. Enhances Fire Knight skills. Ooh. The Winged Serpent is the token creature of Messmer's military forces. It is a wise friend which keeps the base serpent at bay and holds its power in check. And then the second thing, Ash of War Flame Spear. I'm assuming that's the ranged shot that it threw at us. Usable on armaments capable of thrusting. Claws and backhand blades accepted. Backhand blades? That's new. Only takes 19 FP, which isn't bad. Starting in the middle, Flame Spear. Skill of Kood, Captain of the Fire Knights. Ready the weapon for a thrusting attack, and unleash a Spear of Flame straight ahead. Charge the attack to increase damage dealt and distance traveled. I think this may be a boss. Because... no? Skidoo Tree Fragment. It really felt like a boss, being protected by their top knight. Well, there's a Site of Grace. There's a Summoning Pool. Two things typically associated with there's about to be a boss. We need 231,000. We have 168. Cutscene.
Mongrel intruder. That tarnished, it seemeth. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light? Yet, my purpose standeth unchanged. Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death. In the embrace of Messmer's flame.
Called it. Oh. So that looks like a great spear. I was running and didn't get to roll.
Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death. In the embrace of Messmer's flame.
Alright, so he hits hard. Good to know, good to know. Sad. With a boss, we can move over to Flame Drake +3 because he was clearly doing fire damage. We can move away from Taker's Cameo over to Pearl Drake +3 for the best in non-physical damage negation. And if we can move from here to here, it takes dropping the icon shield, but 3 HP per second isn't going to be that useful against a boss. We could do fire damage, or we don't have anything to boost defense in here, which is a bit unfortunate. Besides Opaline Heart Tier, which we have on already. But, okay. So I can already tell this is not going to be an easy one. And we're over an hour, but I feel like we should give this boss at least a few tries. So we can head on in. Ooh. Should have dodged it. Alright, so yeah, so bro is oh. Alright, so he's actually like a worthy child of America. And he's got the Elden Ring special.
Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death in the embrace of Messmer's flame.
Alright, so he's got the Elden Ring special of having very strange timings to throw you off. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is grind up to 231,000 so that way I can get a level up. And then go in to the boss and not having to worry about my runes. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. Okay, so we are back. I put one more point into health. And I'm very tempted to use Mimic Tear. Because on one hand, I want to do this solo so that way I can better learn the boss. And that will make things easier in future runs. But again, very tempted to use Mimic Tear because, once again, I'm not that good of a player. And more importantly, we are an hour and 8 minutes in, and I don't want this part to go on for too long. And Mimic Tear took no damage from that. Not because they had iframes, but because they're the best. There's no other possible reason for that. I rolled ever so slightly too late. Ooh. Very cool looking combo. This is a very cool boss, even though I haven't gotten very far into the fight yet. I was about to say, Mimic Tear really just playing spectator right now. Again, very cool boss. Very high damage, but very cool. And phase 2, which was what I was fearing.
I will not suffer. A lord devoid of light. No, mother. Forgive me.
Mimic Tear, stab him in the back right now, please. Scorpion tail? Question mark?
Soon tarnished. Wilt thou be taken in the jaws of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light?
Whoa, 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 whoa. This is not cool. It looks very cool. However, having a giant snake burst out of the ground is many things. Okay for my health is not one of them. Not even in the ballpark.
O lightless creature, embrace thine oblivion, as shall I.
Alright, so... yeah, that's something I've noticed a lot about Elden Ring, is... a lot of the, like, super late game bosses just have these combos that go on forever. And they can destroy your health bar. Even if you have all the defensive things in the world. Like, 3 plus 3 talismans. Ooh. Alright. Now, I do realize that having a weapon that does fire damage, probably not the best idea against the fire guy. But this is what I've... ow. I feel like you should have gone after Mimic here, but... like, my god...
Those stripped of the grace of
my
gold
god!
shall meet death in the embrace of Messmer's flame.
It's like I was just running away and 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 running away. And Mimic Tear was just chasing after him, trying their absolute best to land an attack or kill him. And he just didn't care. He was like, no. I don't care about Mimic Tear. I care about you. Which seems very rude. That seems like Spear Dash discrimination, and I'm not okay with that. Again, why me? Like, Mimic Tear is the one attacking you. Should I have on that one talisman that constantly attracts enemy aggression? for when I summon Mimic Tier. I roll too late. Like, I feel like I should have that on when I summon Mimic Tier. That's a grab attack. But then take it off. I was about to say, Mimic Tier is literally right behind you. And you're just ignoring him. Ooh. We can watch this one more time. But yeah, the bosses are so aggressive and have very, very long combos. And even with 55 points into the health stat, I'll continue this after the cutscene.
No, Mother. Forgive me. Soon tarnished. Wilt thou be taken in the jaws of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light?
We can actually talk about it after the boss, because Mimic here. But I just realized I could be very wrong about it because I'm not super into the lore, but he has red hair. And red hair, I think of Blasphemous Blade guy. I rolled too early on that one attack. But red hair is typically the child of Radagon. But he says mother, and I'm assuming he means America. Well, that was a 3-swing combo. That was good. I didn't mean I wanted you to do it again. I rolled too early. Ow.
Mother. America.
Yep. America's mom.
Upon thee.
Alright, whew. 480,000 runes. Remembrance of the Impaler. Messmer's kindling burns the sealing tree. Alright. So, starting from the third thing, a malevolent snake writhed within Messmer, and so his very mother plucked out his eye and put in its place a seal of grace. Yet having done so, her fear compelled her to secret away her child within the realm of shadow, hidden away, keeping company with the original sin, and a hatred that would not be confined. And then Messmer's kindling, a kindling that burned inside Messmer the Impaler, a dark thing eaten away by a wicked serpent, burns the scaling tree said to be found at the old Rau ruins. Messmer, much like his younger sister, bore a vision of fire. Alright, so a few things, because there's a lot to unpack here. One, his name starts with M, which is typically for the children of America. But for the children, again, this is just my understanding of the lore, which is not that great. But to my understanding, M, like, names that start with M are for America's children, and they all have golden hair. Whereas if they're the child of Radagon, then their name starts with the letter R and they have red hair, like Radagon, Ronnie, or not Radagon, Radon, Ronnie, and Rykard. They're all the children of... Are they the children of Radagon? I don't know, actually, but names that start with R have red hair, names that start with M have blonde hair, but Messmer starts with M but has red hair. So, that's interesting to me. Second, younger sister bore a vision of fire. So, Melina. So, that seems like more evidence pointing towards her being another child of America. The third thing, that big combo that he had, like I said, a lot of Elden Ring bosses do that, where they have just absolute massive combos that go on for a very long time and destroy your health. Remember, I have 56 points into the health stat. I have the Beast Champion set, which is one of the most defensive sets in the entire game. And I had the highest, like, defensive talisman for physical, fire, and non-physical, which includes fire. So, I was as defensed up as you could possibly be. And still getting destroyed. So, yeah. But initial thoughts on this boss for me, he really feels like another one of those, like, Lady Maria. I was gonna say Sister Freed, but I feel like in terms of combat, Sister Freed is probably more accurate, but in terms of how I stand against them, I feel like Lady Maria is more accurate. In the sense that this boss is going to whoop me hard for the first dozen runs. But eventually I'm going to learn the boss, and eventually I'm going to get comfortable with the boss, and then I'm going to have the skill and the knowledge to stand up against them. As long as I keep playing and keep going against them and, like, stay brushed up on the lore. And if I don't, then we'll go back to that where I get destroyed. I want to see if I can do anything for you.
I'm afraid truly.
Not yet.
I'm afraid truly.
Not yet, I'm afraid. It's probably something we can help her with. But There's still the church entrance district. But the final thing before I end this part is we're gonna check out his rewards. Can we buy his armor? We can. So we can buy that and we can check it out. Also, we can check this. Great Spear. I don't know if I said it, but I definitely thought it. So yes, it was a great spear. Because I thought it, like, in the very first fight. Again, I don't know if I said it, but I looked at it and I at least thought, that looks like a great spear. I wonder if we can get that. And then an incantation. So this is mostly dexterity, a bit of faith, a tiny, tiny bit of strength. Great Spear does physical and fire damage. It takes 35 dexterity, 18 faith, 14 strength to wield. Weapon of Messmer the Impaler, a great spear with a warped blade in the shape of undulating flame. Remade by the forging arts of the realm of shadow, this weapon can be thrown by executing a strong attack. Ooh. Dashing strong attack or mounted strong attack. Charge the attack to produce flame on impact. And then unique skill, Messmer's Assault. A fierce succession of attacks using a flame-coated spear tip. Repeated inputs allow for up to 2 follow-up attacks. The final move thrusts the spear into the ground, causing countless spears to form in the surrounding area. I'm definitely going to use this at least one run. Maybe not this run, because I'm still 8 dexterity away, and I kind of want to get health to 60 first. But we might be able to use it near the end. Because with the Dex Talisman, I only need 3 more. And then there's Messmer's Orb incantation, which requires 60 faith. Shapes Messmer's flame into a giant orb that soars at foe. An incantation of Messmer the Impaler summons Messmer's flame to form a giant floating orb. The orb soars towards a foe, crashes into the earth, and explodes after a brief delay. Charging enhances potency. Messmer despised his own fire. Time and time again, he hoped to rid himself of it, but ever did it burn. And I am 18 faith away from using that. So, I'll get that for now. And I guess we can get this for now. So why not? And as for his armor set, we can throw that on. Alright, so for the gauntlets and pants, black gauntlets or greaves of Messmer the Impaler. On his mother's wishes, Messmer made himself a symbol of fear, undertaking the cleansing crusade she desired. Direct thy maledictions, thine ire, and thy grief towards me alone. For the armor, black armor of Messmer the Impaler, draped with a red cloak bearing his crest embroidered. On his mother's wishes, Messmer made himself a symbol of fear, undertaking the cleanse. Yeah, so same thing. And then Messmer's helm. Black helm of Messmer the Impaler, crowned with 2 intertwined winged serpents. Slightly enhances incantations of Messmer's flames as well as Fire Knight skills. The winged snakes were Messmer's constant companions. They were there when the base serpent was sealed away behind his eye. They were there through his eternity of suffering. They will accompany him yet in his hideous new form born when he destroyed the grace granted by his mother. They have accepted his fate as much as he. I can see the chest piece looking very good with other armor sets. 17.5 to 9.3. So it seems like this probably suffers the same problem as the Disguise set, the Horn Scent set, and the Dancer set. where you just get them too late for how much damage negation they have, which kind of sucks. But I forgot where I would rank that boss. So, initial reaction or initial fight of Messmer, I'd say he's like B tier. But I said, I believe in the beginning of this part that it's one of those FromSoft things where it starts off not that good because there's such a high knowledge requirement, and going in, you just don't have that knowledge requirement, which means that you're going to start off with kind of a lower opinion on things, but as you play, as you learn, as you go through the game multiple times, and you gain that knowledge requirement, then your opinions tend to rise. At least that's how it is for me. So right now, I would say B tier boss. I feel like the main problem is the damage because, again, Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, Flame Drake Talisman +3, and Pearl Drake Talisman +3, and 56 points into the L stat, and the Beast Champion set, one of the heaviest, most defensive sets in the entire game. And they were still destroying my health bar. And I don't know if we can see it here. We can't. So we can go over here to see how many Erdtree fragment upgrades we have. Because I feel like I have a decent bit. It's 10 or 11, I think. So we can check that. Yeah, we have 11. So 11 Erdtree blessings on top of that. So, like I said, just... I feel like they should have toned the damage down just a little bit, because... Imagine going in there with the Horn set, or the Dancer set, or Egon's set, or Messmer Soldier set. I mean... Even like the Oathseeker set. Because again, one of the most defensive armor sets in the entire game. And they were still doing a ton of damage. Imagine a build that doesn't have 44 points into endurance and the Great Jar's Arsenal. Like, I like to look at balancing from like a medium armor perspective. One that has like 8 to 12 damage negation on the chest piece, I would say. Whereas I'm definitely running a heavier armor set. And so even if the damage isn't great against me, if it would destroy a medium armor set like this, with 3 high defensive talismans, and 56 points in the health set, I feel like it's a bit too much. So I feel like they could tone the damage down just a tiny bit. But like, the health felt good. The aggression felt really good. Again, I lack the knowledge base on when to dodge. But that's something that I'm going to gain with more experience. And so, like I said, it's mostly just the damage that I feel like could have been toned down just a little bit. But I can definitely see Messmer being an S tier boss. I just have to gain more knowledge on how to fight him. But with that being said, we went through the second half of the Shadow Keep, starting from the Storehouse first floor, going up to the 4th floor, meeting Sir Ansbach, getting to the 7th floor, meeting Freyja, getting all the way to the top, beating Messmer, getting access to the viaduct miner tower, getting access to this place. And the thing that we got from Messmer, I think that can be used here to burn the tree, or burn this thing, whatever it was. I'm not sure, but we will come back to that later. But for now, we're an hour and a half in, so I feel like we should end it. So, good progress. Which, we did get a lot of good stuff. Like, we got Saul's hood, we got Rain of Fire, we got a Secret Rite scroll, we got this thing, whatever that is. We got the Winged Serpent Helm, the Ash of War Flame Spear, we got some more Erdtree fragments. We got Messmer's Kindling and his Remembrance. We got Messmer's armor set. And we were able to turn his Remembrance into a Great Spear. So, good progress today. I'm happy with it. And with that being said, yeah. Alright, before we end it, I went back to talk to Ansbach, and
What could they possibly have in mind for Lord Moog's remains? The implications are rather unnerving.
I don't... I feel like this might be better.
Well, what's this? Yes, I should have known. Even the truth was itself mere folly. As if using Lord Moog to gain entrance to the Land of Shadow were not enough. He plans to use his corpse as the vessel of his king consort. He has forsaken Lord Moog's soul. He desires only his empty shell. It beggars belief, but I'm afraid Tender Mikola fails to grasp the humiliation implied by this act. One thing is certain. My dear lord deserved better.
Two things. One, no he doesn't. Two, Mikola wants a king consort. To my understanding, Mikola is... Oh, man. Oh, wow, I forgot her name. Scarlet Valkyrie. I can't remember her name. Melania, that's it. If I remember correctly, Mikola is Melania's brother, which would mean Mikola is either bi, pan, or gay. Pretty cool. Anyways, moving on.
Righteous Tarnished. You have my gratitude. You have given me the answers I needed, but I can hardly fathom it. Such folly. Unto the end. I am a warrior, but I've aged. I cannot afford to act hastily. Curse it all. I know my limits. I could spend the rest of my life honing my craft, and still that creature would be out of my blade's reach. The absolute folly of it all.
Oh, so we can do both. That's good. I don't see why not.
Freyja, by the gods. She must be feeling the need to reaffirm her allegiance before she heads to war. A true Redmane she is, hardly troubled by the rot. Righteous Tarnished, could you please give this to Freyja? Thanks to you, she too will have the answer she requires. Yes. I can see her barreling into the fray right now.
Letter to Freyja.
Perhaps I shouldn't meddle in her affairs, but this is the only way I can help. Perhaps this is the...
I mean, you should meddle if it's going to help. A piece of paper folded over so that way the contents cannot be read. I mean, I feel like you can just unfold it. But a letter written by Sir Ansbach to Freyja the Redmane, presumably written in answer to her query, but the page is neatly folded to keep prying eyes from it. You could so easily just unfold it. But I do feel like that confirms that a FromSoft gay as a queer character. That's pretty cool. Anyways,
I'm afraid I'm busy. Truly. I should have asked Ansbach to impart his knowledge when I had the chance. From Sir Ansbach? To me? What on earth could it... Oh. Yes. Of course. I see. As the Festival of War concluded, General Radahn's soul met an honorable end, but kindly Mikola wishes to revive it, which is fine by me. I know it would pain old Jeren, but war has always suited General Radahn best, and certainly far more than any honorable death. Endless war to invigorate the soul, as befits General Radahn, the Great Lion.
I don't like these implications. Can we just go back to Mikola being gay, please? Because, like, that's cool. Bringing General Radahn back. I mean, if they just bring Radahn back, if they don't bring the horse back, and this is, like, foot-on-foot combat, I can see it. Could be like a, Godfrey First Elden Lord kind of fight, which are always my favorite.
Thank you. Now I finally cast off my misgivings. Give my regards to Honorable Ansbach. Tell him, if we should meet in battle, to face your bow would be fine enough, but to face your blade would be an honor.
Gold and a lion shield.
Brave warrior. Perhaps next time, we too will meet on the battlefield. Brave warrior. Perhaps next time, we too will meet on the battlefield.
I hope as allies. But this is a medium shield, C strength. A shield made to resemble a fierce golden lion with a luxuriant mane. Awarded to especially valorous members of Radahn's personal guard on the occasion of its formation. Unique skill, Roaring Bash. Roar like a golden lion and deliver a shield bash from a guarding position. Knocks back and staggers foes over a wide radius. I was gonna go talk to Sir Ansbach to give him the news that she would feel honored to fight him, but he's gone, so... gay FromSoft character, and we I was about to say concluded, but we are progressing their quest lines. Love to see it, love to see it. And with that being said, let's see what Mimicsville's up to. Alright, well, we have to end this with a snap of the fingers, so